Today, Martha and I are going to be attempting to summit the highest peak in the state of Idaho, Borah Peak. Named after the prolific Idaho Senator William Borah, this peak stands at 12,662 feet. It is infamous for its incredibly steep and exposed hike to reach the summit, which gains over 5,200 feet of elevation in just 3.8 miles along a narrow ridge. As an Idahoan, I have wanted to reach the very top of Idaho for quite some time, and I'm excited to finally get a chance to do that today. Alright, we are currently at the Borah Peak trailhead, and it's 9 o'clock. And on the approach to the mountain, we saw that we may be getting a little bit more than we bargained for because there's snow on Borah right now. We're still just going to give it a shot and hope it goes well. So the plan is to get up 4 or 5 a.m. I see you back there. So yeah, see you guys in the morning for tallest mountain in Idaho. It's currently 5 a.m. and we've been hiking for about 30 minutes in the dark. And normally hiking through a forest like this at night would be pretty scary because I don't care who you are, your mind always makes up scenarios of something behind the next tree over there, you know? But currently, at least for me, I think I've found the cure for being scared in a dark forest. Just do a hard hike. Monsters, I literally don't care. I am not worried about getting chased by a monster from behind the tree. I'm worried about getting up this mountain. We continued hiking in the dark for another hour, hoping to make good progress and reach the tree line by sunup. The real climb, however, is still ahead. We did hear something strange in the dark along the way that I will explain later. Okay, I'd officially say it's light outside. The sun isn't all the way up, but it's dawn, so we can finally see stuff. And yeah, it's pretty snowy up on these slopes, but not too bad. It's looking really good on weather. I'm feeling good about it. So Borah is kind of infamous for its thunderstorms, and especially the ones that have hail. And we can see on the trail here, we have a layer of ice that's filled with hail. Currently, we have gone up 2,500 feet and we are almost 2 miles in to this trail. We're just about to get to a beautiful ridge where we're gonna be able to see all the surrounding mountains. And hopefully that coincides right with the sunrise. Before we get to this amazing ridge though, I wanted to talk about backseat geologist. It has got to be the best new thing for any geology enthusiast, especially ones that hike or road trip a lot. So as you guys know, I love my roadside geology books, but this app may have just one-upped those books. Because basically what it does is it takes those really detailed and beautiful geologic maps that you sometimes see in museums or universities, and it's overlaid that on Apple Maps. So as I walk around, I can see exactly which geologic layers I'm standing on, and then click and read about them. Such a cool and great idea. And then the other thing the app does is it actually has voiceovers that it can then speak to you about while you're hiking. So if you just want to listen to it kind of like a podcast, just a super cool app and a really cool idea. And I really recommend it for anybody who's interested in geology and wants to learn more while they're just walking around. So just as an example, let me pop it open right now and I can see the geologic layers I'm standing on. And if I click on it, I can see that I'm in the Three Forks Formation, which is majority dolostone. And that actually brings up something I want to talk about later in the video, which is the difference between dolomite and limestone. So if you want to check out the app, I have a link for it in my description and a couple codes so you can get half off any paid versions where you can download stuff offline. And thanks again to Backseat Geologist for sponsoring this climb up Borah Peak. All right, we made it to the crest of the ridge that we will be hiking on for the rest of the hike. The view is pretty good, as we predicted, and great sunrise. There's a nice like pink layer out there. Pin comment for whoever can guess the name of that mountain right there. And then at least a hearted comment on whoever can guess the mountain in the center of the frame over there. Let's see how well you guys know Idaho. So up ahead of us, we probably have the most infamous ridge in all of Idaho hiking, and that's called Chicken Out Ridge. You can see it up there. It's some class 3 scrambling, and especially with snow on it today, it's gonna be a little daunting. And the reason it's called Chicken Out Ridge is not because it's a class 3 scramble. It's because the exposure is pretty insane on both sides. So what happens a lot is people decide, hey, I'm gonna go climb the highest mountain in Idaho. And then they hit Chicken Out Ridge, and it's just way more than they bargained for. Hopefully Chicken Out Ridge does not best us today. Slightly unfortunate development you guys may have noticed. I'm without a glove on my right hand. And that's because I was a total idiot and I put my gloves in a non-secured zipped up pocket and they totally fell out on the way up. Total rookie move, and now I'm having to borrow one of Martha's and just hope for the best while we're scrambling. Another funny thing about Borah is it actually wasn't known to be the highest mountain in Idaho for a while. I'm not exactly sure which one it is, but one of those peaks over there is Hinman Peak. I think it's this one. And that peak was long considered the highest point of Idaho. But then some surveying was done in the Lost River Range, and they realized that this mountain, soon to be named Mount Borah, was way taller. And then they also discovered that the Lost River Range is full of peaks that are taller than Hinman. Also, I wanted to tell you guys about this before it gets too windy and cold. Something I always get asked is, have you had any weird, creepy wilderness experiences in the mountains? And my answer is always no. Like, nothing weird has ever really happened to me out while hiking. But while we were hiking up in the dark, we had our flashlights off, pretty pitch black other than the moon, and we hear what sounds exactly like a drone fly right over our heads. Pretty close, maybe 20, 30 feet off the ground. And I know what a drone sounds like because I fly one all the time. It was not a bird. But the thing was, all drones are mandated to have night lights on them. So example, if I take off my drone at night, it knows it's dark and it flashes these bright red lights. But this drone was pitch black. We didn't see anything. So kind of creepy. Not sure what that was, what it was doing, but all I know is that it's not a legal drone. Let me know your guys' theories for what that was. Thinking it was some hobbyist who tampered with their drone and was flying it around for the sunrise, or something else, who knows. Probably one of the coolest things about Chicken Out Ridge is really the rocks that it's made up of. And that's kind of what makes it so scary. As you can see here, we got the Three Forks Formation, which has a lot of dolomite and then a couple of siltstones as well. And they are steeply uplifted here, almost vertically at Chicken Out Ridge. And that creates this serrated edge up there that you have to climb up and down. And the silt layers are eroding more than the harder dolomite, which creates those ups and downs. And we can see some steeply tilted layers on the other side, on this mountain here, that are going a different direction. These are dipping west, while those are dipping east. So there must be a big fold here. While we're walking up, let's quickly talk about the difference between limestone and dolomite. So, quick refresher, limestone is just a calcium carbonate rock that was deposited in an ocean environment. Limestone is usually pretty light in color, that's how it's easy to ID. And when you put acid on it, it fizzes a lot. And so basically, dolomite is limestone's cousin. Essentially what it is just limestone with a lot of magnesium in it. And this magnesium does a couple things. For one, it makes the rock much darker. Really, really dark stone, especially with the snow on it. And then the other thing it does is it makes it more resistant to weathering because it doesn't undergo that acid dissolution quite as easily. So if you put some acid on dolomite, it'll still bubble a little bit, but not nearly as much as limestone. And so that added strength has a really big effect, especially up here in the mountains. So yeah, if you're up in the mountains and you see what you think is a carbonate rock, you can use acid or kind of use the color to tell if it's dolomite or limestone.
And if you're still unsure after that, you can always pop out Backseat Geologist and check in the description layer if the rock you're standing on is dolostone or limestone.
We can now see Leatherman Peak over there, second tallest mountain in Idaho. That's the one I summited about a month ago now. It's pretty fun. We are the first people to be stepping in the snow. So I'm thinking it happened yesterday. The great thing about this hike being so steep is it keeps you warm. This wind is frigid. I mean, I would estimate it's probably, I don't know, 25 degrees up here. Yeah, without the steep slope, we'd be freezing. Here's a quick look at where we've come from. We've been walking along this ridge here, and now we are at the more sketchy section, or Chicken Out Ridge. Okay, we've reached the first borderline class 3 section right here. Just some light scrambling. And I realize I haven't explained myself. Class 3 that I keep saying refers to scrambling grades. Those are numbers that kind of tell a hiker how much exposure is on a hike. Because obviously we're not roping up for this, we're not using any protection. So scrambling grades are nice to know how much risk we're gonna be putting ourselves at. And class 3 is generally defined as going up some pretty steep stuff that requires the use of hands. And at times a fall could be deadly. But for the most part, I'd say class 3 is not a no fall zone. Whereas class 4 is essentially like if we were climbing this and there was a vertical drop right here. So if you fell, you'd be toast. I've heard most people describe Borah as all class 3, though some people say there's a little class 4. But at the very simplest, we are gonna have to use our hands here and just be extra careful. Okay, I think this is the sketchiest part right here. That might be considered the crux of the ridge, because we do have a vertical fall there, and then to the right, not quite vertical, but still a decent chute. And for the remainder of this little ridge here, we're gonna have to go kind of on this knife edge. But yeah, the right side isn't terrible at all. Oh, there it is, guys. If you ever want to do Borah, that's the worst part right there. It's not terrible. I'd say as long as you have some scrambling practice and you're not deathly afraid of heights, you'll be all right. So we are pretty lucky because since it's so late in the year, there's no snow bridge here, but normally this really low spot in the ridge has snow, and it can be kind of dangerous because if you were to slip on that snow, it's a lot different than slipping on rock because you will just slide. So it would be right there, and then yeah, you could just potentially slide off that way.
And off a cliff and maybe die, or twist your arm, twist your ankle, or maybe split your head open and die.
Yeah, if I twisted my ankle, that would be pretty sad. But luckily for us, it's just a light dusting, and we get to just go right on through. Then we're gonna stay below this high point and then get to that ridge and go up. This section here is probably the most intense down climb, but it's not bad and there's pretty good handholds. And if you fell, hopefully you just plop down right there. I think 2 more 12,000 foot peaks from here, Mount Idaho and Mount Leatherman. It's kind of funny, the snow is all made up of pebbles up here. Bunch of little balls. I think it's called like grapple or something. I don't remember. But there's so much of it that it's essentially just a bunch of powder. It's kind of fun to walk through. Okay, we're making our final approach. Pros, it's not windy at all. It's actually so calm and it's amazing. I love it. Cons, we're both feeling it pretty hard. Our legs are, yeah, they're reaching their limits. Blue sky, no smoke. Got super lucky with this one. I wanted to say before we get to the summit, please let me know if you like this state high point series, because I would love to continue it. It's always kind of been just a background goal of mine to do some more state high points like Kings Peak or Gannett. And yeah, if this does well, if you guys like this, I would love to keep doing this series. Which brings me to, where does Borah sit among the US high points? And well, by height, it actually doesn't rank too high. I think it's 11th. But height isn't everything. Borah, as you have seen, is an incredibly steep hike. I mean, going up a vertical mile in 3.5 miles is just ludicrous. Not very common, and I'm pretty sure none of the other high points have that kind of grade, except for maybe Denali. So yeah, although it might rank 11th in height, I think in terms of effort or difficulty, there's a couple different metrics. Probably 6th, because Denali beats it, Gannett, Rainier, Mount Hood, and what's the other one? Oh yeah, Granite Peak, Montana might be a little bit harder. But this is, you know, a little bit more technical and steeper than stuff like Kings Peak or Mount Elbert in Colorado. We are struggling right now.
Yeah.
This last bit of Borah, you go up over 600 feet in a quarter mile. Yeah, it's really hard at 12,000 feet to do that. But we're making it. We might not be the first people on the summit. There's some guys down here that are
About to pass us.
pretty speedy, so credit to them. They deserve it if they do. Final push. Just about 100 feet from the top. We got passed, sadly, but it's worth it. That break we just took gave me what I needed, because I was struggling. I was struggling. This really looked super ominous from the bottom, but it really hasn't been too bad. I'm just worried about the way down because all the rocks are covered in ice. Like, if you look here, and it's a really slippery ice. There it is, highest point in Idaho, right there. Congratulations! Yay! We made it! Highest point in Idaho. This the first time up there? Yeah. Please tell me the person who left this rubber chicken watches my videos. That'd be so funny. Not the rubber chicken, bro. Oh, now he's got snow in his mouth. No! The rubber chicken really likes the view. He's pretty impressed by, you can tell by his facial expression. That was really hard.
Yeah.
Definitely really hard.
The last part was pretty awful.
But it is so calm up here. When I summited Leatherman, it was awfully windy, but it's crystal clear and calm. I can't believe it. I thought it was gonna be stormy today, and it's definitely not. So we're enjoying a snack. They're hitting so hard. I mean, one of my favorite things about summiting a mountain is just having a snack on top because it tastes so good.
And we're kind of tucked behind some rocks right now, so all we feel is the sun and there's no wind because we're protected by this little cave.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Standing on the summit again, just for a sec. We'll sign the register in a little bit. I wanted to point out though, there's something really cool off this cliff. So I don't think we'll be able to quite see it, but Idaho's only recognized glacier is right down there, Borah Glacier. And anybody who's been watching my channel for a little bit will know I pointed out some rock glaciers at Leatherman, and there's certainly some here as well, but this is a real glacier, just ice. And it's covered with snow right now, so we kind of can't see the boundaries of where it starts and ends. So now we can see where we came from. That is the parking lot at 7,400 feet, I think. And then we came up this ridge, up Chicken Out Ridge there, and then just straight up this face. It's really short. Out here, this mountain range that's just kind of running parallel to the Lost Rivers is the Lemhi Range. The only 12er over there is Diamond Peak. And then here is the Lost River Valley, which is 6,000 feet below us, over a mile below us. And we got the White Cloud Mountains and the Pioneer Mountains out there. The Frank Church where I was at a while ago is that way. Really, really cool. And then of course this way, got all the other 12ers in this range, which is Leatherman, Church, Breitenbach, and some others I can't remember. Mount Idaho, I think Mount Idaho is this one. There's a name on the back. Cluck Norris. It's Cluck Norris. 12,662 feet. Next stop, Denali. Right?
Yeah.